it's working. Took its time, but it's working. Okay. Hey Gemini, welcome. I was just about to get up and make some adjustments over here because things are not in order. Excuse me a sec. Okay, cool. I'm okay, thanks. How are you? Honestly though, I kind of feel like the amount that my growth outweighs my backslide is like so fucking minuscule, and it's highly frustrating. But other than that, I'm okay. I did cancel YouTube. Oh no, I did cancel Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn and Discord. I don't know if you read the Oracle, but the Oracle is basically like trimming the boughs that don't serve anymore, dead boughs, and I feel definitely like Facebook was one of those dead boughs, as well as LinkedIn, as well as Twitter and Discord. They're all just dead boughs. They served me to get where I am now, but they don't serve me anymore. Now they're just like drains, black holes. But I mean, I didn't have any viewers on Twitch or YouTube for the first month that I was streaming and uploading. Marketing through Facebook is what got me from 0 to 1, I guess. Hey, Pure Zen. I don't know if I've seen that name before, although I feel like I might have. Not sure. So I've decided I'm going to use Facebook for that from now on. And Twitter too, just literally for advertising. Vinod MK. Hashtag tarot. Hello, firstly. Firstly, hello to you too, Vinod. But Vinod, you are the first one in the queue, followed by Gemini. You're new here, but you believe in me. Thank you so much. It's always great to have new faces and new names in the chat. I do love that. New likes, new subscribers. Naturally, I would love that. Gemini says my predictions are accurate. Thank you, Gemini. Thank you for holding my back, for having my back. Standing ready with a shield. And your sword ready to meet the blood of my foes and those who might not believe. Excuse me, I'm just being dramatic. Queen of Cups, welcome back. It's been so long since I saw you in the stream. And Rupali Kana, hi. So Vinod says, I want to know about my job. I did a course. I want to know about my future job. Okay. Things are well, thanks, Queen of Cups. So I've just had like a lot more growth. Recently, in the last week, Twitch has finally responded. You know, Twitch, since I started out, Twitch has like been such a slow platform. But for the first time this week, I had an average viewage which was higher than 1. So that's great, you know. Now it's like 3.5, 3.4, which is fucking cool. Also, I've discovered that, like, also in the last week, a little community has sprung up on Twitch. So I really love that, and I'm almost feeling ready to like put all of my live content onto Twitch exclusively, and then use YouTube for like pre-recorded content exclusively. I've also cancelled all the other platforms. Discord, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, they're done. Yeah, anyway, back to Vinod's question, because now he's saying from next month I will start giving interview. What will happen? Okay. So I'm just gonna look generally into what kind of career or job opportunities are on the table for you this year, and what that's gonna look like for you. I love robots. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us today. I mean that with all my heart. Thank you so much, because I've cancelled all the other platforms. I feel like you guys on YouTube and you guys on Twitch are the only ones who actually appreciate the value that I'm offering. People on Facebook are like black holes. They just suck up energy and never output anything. Thanks for your questions, Rupali and Gemini. We're doing the first reading of the day, and it's going to Vinod MK. Whereabouts am I? Says I Love Robots. I am in the Republic of South Africa. Whereabouts are you? DJ Nun Inho, welcome. Yeah, you can just join the queue. The queue, we're on YouTube and Twitch, so the queue doesn't really work like it does in other streams. You just ask a question and I'll have you there. Yeah, I'm gonna call you DJ, because it's like easier. Canada is where I Love Robots is. Thanks for joining the queue, DJ. Okay, so what is on the table regarding finances and career for Vinod MK? So there's one wild card so far. So let's see what your wild card says. What does the wild card say? Ah, it's the 7 of Wands. I love number 7. Okay, so this card is basically saying that you can see endless possibilities in front of you. Like endless desires, endless possibilities. But this card is saying that as long as there are endless possibilities, none of it's going to manifest for you. You got to pick one. You got to pick what you desire most and what you want the most, and then, yeah, work towards that exclusively. Otherwise, none of it's going to happen for you. And that's just a note that this card wants to give you. Vinod MK. Alright, so your first card is number 10 of the trumps. It's called Fortune. So this card is saying that everything you've invested into your studies is paying off. It's coming full circle. All of the time that you've dedicated to that, and yeah, your personal life that you've had to sacrifice, and relationships you've had to sacrifice, and just all the time that you've invested and everything that you've put into your efforts regarding your studies is paying off, and it's come full circle. You're now in a position to move into a new cycle. When you start making new investments, now it's not about study, it's about work. Not entirely sure why that card's coming up. It's basically just commending you, giving you some encouragement, saying yes, have a look, what you've invested so far has paid off, so go ahead into this new period where you're looking for a job with that same kind of attitude, and it will pay off again. Okay, so in the present, what you should be doing is like communicating what you've learned. Like have a look at your course or whatever you've been doing, you're studying, and see what do you have that's unique because of that. There are many people in this field that you're in, Now you need to look at what your strengths are, what unique little features did you learn through your course that'll make you stand out. You need to put that stuff down in a resume, and send it out to every opportunity that you see. Google it, search your local newspaper. Basically, this card is talking about communicating everything that you've learned, putting it down in a nice, readable, consumable platform, and then sharing it with as many opportunities and as many people as you can. Future interval is 11. It's called lust. So this is what is coming up for you. What this card is saying to me is that the job opportunity that you're going to get, it might not be everything that you expected, first of all. So this card wants to suggest to you that you let go of any expectations right now, so that you don't experience any kind of disappointment. The opportunity that is opening up for you, it does have the abundance, the prosperity, and the security that you want. The most important aspects of why you want a job. Like, why does anybody want a job? It's mostly for security. Yeah, that's like the highest priority. So it will have that. It will have that security for you. It's also going to challenge you. This job opportunity that's opening up, it's not going to be like, there's going to be a lot of things you're still going to have to learn in order to keep up with your responsibilities in this job. Basically, you're going to be given a chance at something that's a little bit more than what you have studied for. And so the road in front of you is going to be dark and it's going to be unknown. But put one foot in front of the other and walk in that darkness, because your creativity, your ingenuity, your critical thinking, they are like a light. So any obstacles that come up along the way, you will be able to overcome them by applying yourself. You'll be able to learn whatever you need to learn and get your responsibilities fulfilled. And that's your reading. Is my camera off? It looks like my camera's off. Like, why is my camera off? I'll figure that out and find out why my camera's off. My server stopped running. Why is my server not running? I have no idea why that happened. But I'm back. So Vinod, I hope that gives you some inspiration and some things to think about. Hey, Obsidian Pagan. Good day to you as well, and thanks, God's abundant blessings. Nice to see you, Gopika. And Mercy, I got you in the queue. Gopika, I got you in the queue. I think I Love Robots is also in the queue. Not sure. Ah, DJ is in Portugal. So cool. I love how far this goes up. So Vinod, like the description says, I give one free reading per viewer. If you want to join the queue a second time, send a tip, and that'll put you in the second time. Any amount is good. That tip will put you back in the queue. This little suggestion on screen over here, that is for 6-card reading and for priority. If you want to skip the queue and get a little extra, then the $9 tip will do it. But to get back in the queue for a second time, any amount is good. Whatever's within your budget. Keep up with Kefian. Nice to see you. Next in the queue is Gemini, as far as I remember. Just looking to see where your question is. Scorpio's current feelings and future of the connection. Hey Gemini, doesn't it ever cross your mind to like ask other questions, like maybe more serious questions that are more, that might give you some more value? Like maybe, what do I need to let go of in order to move forward? What else could be there? How can I develop the character traits which I value in myself? You know? It's a real shame that you've never considered asking more valuable questions. It's a real shame. I hope that you will consider asking more valuable questions in the future. What does Gemini need to know about her relationship and connection with the one referred to as Scorpio? Thank you for your support, my love, Aziza Azura. Okay, so Gemini, we've got the Ace of Wands in reversed here. It's kind of talking about miscommunication regarding intentions. So a little note on reversed cards: if you don't turn them the right way around, you move into the next card still reversed. So it goes in an order of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You move through it. It's like a karmic journey. So if you've got the mages in reverse, number 1, Ace, then you move into a priestess reversed, and all the reversed cards involve like risk or missing out. So just bringing that up to say it'll be a good idea to turn that card around. So it's basically saying that whatever you guys have been up to lately, there's been miscommunication. Some things have not been expressed clearly. Intentions that are going on in the background that are being miscommunicated. Miscommunication can go as far as lies, but in this case I feel like it's more about omission, like white lies, just like omitting certain things. And this is coming from both ends of the relationship. Okay, in the present we've got reversed. So this is telling me that you had some goals for this relationship. You had like certain outcomes in mind, certain milestones, and you haven't met them. The relationship hasn't met those milestones. Things don't seem to be changing for the positive. So you've been like looking back and asking yourself, why is that the case? Why doesn't it seem like there's any growth in this relationship or any progress? Why are these relationship milestones not being met? And you're observing it, but you seem to be having this tendency to like say, oh, well, there was that person in our lives and that person created disharmony, or there's been no work or whatever. Basically just looking for reasons why it's the environment's problem. Not acknowledging your own part to play in the stagnation, that there are certain things you could be doing differently to bring about growth. Instead choosing to say, hey, it's the environment that's preventing growth. So again, that card is going to have to be turned around, otherwise you're going to move into a state of completion that's going to be reversed. And when you got a reverse completion, it means everything you've invested has been lost and you're back at square one. So yeah, it would be highly advisable to turn that 9 of Swords the right way around and really have a hard look at yourself and your part to play in any stagnation or any lack of growth. Future interval card is a 7 of Wands reversed. Lots of reversed cards here for you, Gemini. So This is saying that what's opening up is both of you are going to be like second guessing the relationship. You want to stay in the relationship, it's part of the desire, but you don't really have this end goal picture, this big goal picture. If you look 10 years into your life, what you're creating with your life, with the things you're passionate about, they don't include him. And same for him, the things he's passionate about, the vision of his future, doesn't include you. And yeah, you can see all of these endless possibilities and how you can get to the future that's in your mind, but it doesn't include him, and his future doesn't include you. So as long as you guys are together, both of those futures are stagnating unless you can incorporate one another's dreams into a collective dream. And that's your reading. Hope it didn't trigger you too bad. So Obsidian Pagan is saying, hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you. Yeah, it's been like a bleak day. It's like one of those days where the clouds are in front of the mountain of inspiration and you can't really see that inspiration. But you know it's there. You just like can't really touch it because there's like stuff in the way. So let's see who is after Gemini. Rupali Khanna is next. You're welcome, Gemini. All I can say is you got to turn those cards around. You got to incorporate him into your life, into your vision, your life vision, and you gotta see your own part to play in stagnation. Also make sure that you're communicating clearly. Even if he isn't, make sure that you're not omitting anything that might be quite important. So why is Mayank prying? Why does he want to know more about Rupali Khanna? What does it mean? The first card is number 16 and it's reversed. It's the tower. This is an interesting card. It's kind of saying that he's like, the universe has been presenting him with circumstances and new connections that are making him aware of insecurities in his identity. Like he's believed he has certain abilities. He's believed he's kind of special in a way, and now these new circumstances and these new people that he's meeting, it's kind of making him aware that he's not all that special as he thought he was. I mean, he is, but not for the reasons he thought he was special, and that's been difficult for him to grasp and recognize. It's been quite painful and jarring, and his whole ego feels like unstable as a result. Oh geez. In the present we have number 13. Death card reversed. Okay, so that is saying that because of all the shit that's going on in his life, now he's going through a whole rebirth. He's lost some relationships. Some of his close relationships, close friendships have broken. He's lost them, and this has caused him to re-examine his whole lifestyle. The whole old way of living is now gone because those connections are gone. And the reason these relationships came to an end is because of the instability he had in his ego. He probably blew up and said some things he actually regrets saying. So this is saying that this is answering your question, like why is he trying to understand more about you? It's because he wants to start a new relationship. He's culling away old relationships that seem to be draining him, and he wants to build something a little bit more secure. So he's looking to start growing a more serious and more more interactive relationship with you. Whether that turns into romance and marriage in the future, we're unsure at this point, but he wants to develop like a strong connection. He feels like the relationships he has had until this point have not been all that strong, and that was proven. His identity got a little bit wobbly, and suddenly all of these close friends abandoned him, so he's realized that they were not all that secure, and he wants to build things that are more secure. Okay, what's opening up is the mages, so he's going to be talking to you a lot more often. He's going to be asking you more things and want to share. He wants you to get to know him, and he wants to get to know you. He wants to find middle ground and things that you have in common, activities you could do together. So there's going to be a lot of communication happening there between you guys. And that's where everything starts, you know. When you have thoughts and ideas, you give them their first physical form by speaking them out loud. So, yeah, that period of giving the reality you hope for, that he hopes for, giving it its first physical form and allowing it to, like, get some motion in reality in the physical world, that's what's going to be happening here. Soon, in the next week, in the next month, you guys are going to spend a while communicating. And once the communication period is over, then there's going to be opportunities for further development in the relationship. Opportunities for romance, opportunities for whatever. Hey Farah. Farah M. Welcome, and I'm okay. Thanks for asking. I hope you are also okay. Maybe you're doing a little bit better than okay. You're most welcome to ask a question. As you know, you just type your hashtag tarot, you ask a question, and bingo, you're in the queue. So let's see who's next in the queue. Calming Vibes, welcome back. Hello and blessings to you as well. How have you been since the last time you were here? So Mercy is the next one in the queue. Curtis Shavan, welcome. So Mercy, please let me know if you're still here, because it doesn't look like Rapali stuck around. Hey, look at that. Farah M has sent a tip. Farah M wants priority, wants a 6-card priority. Nice. Okay, so we're gonna do that next. Calming Vibe says I've been feeling a little down, and Kurti Shavan says, may I ask a question? Yes please Kurti, that's how you join the queue. Anyway, Farah M, you're up next for that 6-card deep reading, and yeah, let me know what your question is. Oh, Rupali Kana is here. Cool. So you got your reading. I hope that it gives you some value, helps you understand what's going on underneath the hood there, and what his intentions are. So Farah wants to know what is going on in Yasir's head. What's up in his mind? What's going on there under that hood? Okay, well, let's find out. Rupali says your reading for me made me go into deep thought. Well, that's always good to hear. Some deep self-reflection. Thank you for the feedback, by the way, Rupali. Much appreciated. So, What are Yasir's thoughts and feelings towards Farah M? What's going on under his hood and in his conscious mind? Hey, please bring that back when you're done, because I want to roll another one. Thanks. Okay, so we have a present and a general overview. And we have a crossing card. That's what's like getting in the way of the present. What's affecting the present and causing it to look the way it looks. Okay, I've got these the wrong way around. That one goes that way, that one goes that way. And we have conscious thoughts. So what's his conscious mind fixating on? What's going on in his head because of all the shit in the present? We've got unconscious mind. So what's affecting him that he's not even aware of? What's going on in his unconscious? What's he processing in his dreams and shit? And then we've also got a past interval. So what does he come from? Where does he come from? What's been going on up until the present moment? And then we've got a future interval, which is what is opening up for him. What's opening up for Yasir and Farah M? Now let's see. Okay, this is very interesting. So, Six of Wands is your present interval card. So basically he's been trying to live in what he's passionate about. He's trying to make his passions secure him. And he's been doing the best that he can with that. He's like saying, okay, I've got X amount of knowledge, X amount of experience, I've got this technology, I've got so much savings. And he's applying it all to its maximum potential to achieve what he's passionate about. But naturally there are still limits. Every moment that we exist there are limits on how much we know. But now he's evolving past those limits through this relationship that you guys have. Like talking to you about what he's doing, about what he's passionate about, and learning from you, like hearing what you're passionate about and what you're doing with your life. Basically that you have a piece of the puzzle that he didn't have, and he's got a piece of the puzzle that you didn't have. And so this relationship, whatever status it's in, whether it's romance, whether it's friends, this doesn't give me a clear answer on that, but it's just saying that because of the relationship you do have, whatever its status is, you are both giving each other access to new knowledge, new experiences, and new resources. So both of you are able to overcome any previous limits that you might have had. And that's what's going on in the present regarding that relationship. So what's crossing that present card is a Seven of Swords. Okay. So this is about goals. Goals that he has set. Particularly regarding his education, things that he still needs to learn in order to get where he wants to be. And he's not entirely sure what that looks like yet. So that's what's been crossing his present. That's the limitation I was talking about. The limitation that he's overcoming because of this relationship. So that limitation was basically not being 100% sure what all is required of him before he can see his outcome or see himself meet his goals. Seven of Swords. That card basically just wants to say to him it doesn't really matter. He must just choose. He must just choose one of whatever it's going to be. He must choose the topic he's going to study. He'll look at the resources he does have and see, okay, what's going to serve me best in the present, and then choose it. It doesn't matter really what it is. Like he's uncertain which one to choose. Just choose the one that's going to serve him best, and then stick to it. Stay committed to it. That's a little bit of advice from that card. Conscious thoughts. So now we're going to have a look at what he's thinking, what's going on in his mind. So it's a Nine of Wands. And basically he is reflecting on his intentions. So his intentions for wanting this relationship in the first place, or getting into this relationship with you, he's reflecting on that. He's like, okay, when I first reached out to this woman, what were my intentions? Were they healthy? Did they serve her as well as me, or were they selfish? So if the card is reversed, I'd say that the intentions were selfish. But the card being the right way around, it implies that there were selfless intentions. Like there were aspects of his intentions that wanted to support you. Like he saw you and he saw potential there. He saw passion, he saw desire in you, and he wanted to nurture those things. But he also had some self-serving intentions, some self-gratifying intentions, like wanting emotional support, wanting physical gratification. But he is taking responsibility for all those things, and he is acknowledging how unhealthy intentions might affect the relationship. He's acknowledging how healthy intentions would bring about growth to the relationship. And basically the point of this is so that he can avoid repeating mistakes that he's made in past relationships, and so that he can also take his methods, the things that he's done that created growth or that provided support or that got breakthroughs for him in relationships and in this relationship. He wants to reflect on both the mistakes and the breakthroughs so he can reapply them in this new relationship that you guys are in. He doesn't want to repeat past cycles from old relationships, basically. So he's kind of self-isolated. His conscious mind is quite isolated, basically, is what this card is saying. And the reason it's isolated is because of all that self-reflecting that he's doing. And he will come out of that. He will come out of that pretty soon. Unconscious mind. So the things that are impacting him that he's not even like consciously aware of is the Knight of Discs, and it's reversed. So this card is talking about the loss of a job, end of a career. Something he was doing to secure his finances came to an end, and he had to come up with new solutions to give birth to some new form of securing himself. And that is impacting the whole situation. That's impacting what he's doing in the present, pursuing his passions. That's impacting his self-reflective process. It's impacting his, like, let's say he was still in that old career that he came from, he might not be so keen to acknowledge his own mistakes from the past, and avoid making those same mistakes in the present. This is affecting him on every level, and it's a healthy change. So the end of his career was probably scary for him. It was probably frightful and disorienting, but it was also the beginning of something a lot more aligned with his heart and who he is authentically. And he's not even fucking aware that that's affecting him as big as it is, that it's been such a cornerstone in his development. So past interval card here. This is somewhere that he's come from quite recently, like 2022 opened this up for him, and in the present it's closing, but it's something he's been through. It's the Eight of Wands reversed. So 8, it talks about making shifts, making adjustments. Basically we saw in the present he's doing the best that he can for his passions and his desires. Now in 2021 his passions looked very different and his desires were very different. Things he worked towards was very different. The opening of 2022, the universe basically smacked him. It gave him like a clap and said, hey, you need to re-examine what it is that you're passionate about and what it is that you're working towards. Because as it stands, there's no balance and there's no consistency. So the universe presented him with circumstances, opportunities, and new connections, new people in his life, and then he had to adapt. His whole old way of life had to shift. He had to make a lot of changes to himself and his habits and his lifestyle in order to adapt with the new circumstances that the universe was throwing his way. And as a result, all of his intentions, all of his desires, and everything he was passionate about shifted as well. Future interval card. Okay, so the future interval card is the Lovers, and it's also reversed. Now, reversed is not a negative thing. It just means that there's some risk, and it means that there's the possibility of missing out on the true potential of this relationship. This Lovers card is saying that what's opening up for you is a really deep heart connection with him. It's like to connect on a level that you guys haven't connected yet. The card being reversed implies that he's going to make you aware of some insecurities in yourself, and he's going to make you aware of some limitations, and you're going to do the same for him, and that's going to be really difficult to acknowledge because you guys have kind of been ignoring your limits or ignoring your insecurities. So this relationship is going to bring them to the surface, and that's going to be difficult to process, but it's pretty important that you turn this card the right way around and accept those limits and yeah, be ready to learn from him, and he needs to be ready to learn from you, acknowledging that you don't have everything figured out, and he doesn't have everything figured out, and that's okay. You can help him figure shit out that he hasn't figured out, and he can help you figure shit out that you haven't figured out. You don't resist that. Don't like say his opinion doesn't matter, and don't let him tell you that your opinion doesn't matter, because that'll keep this card reversed. And if the card is reversed, it's not the end of the world. You're still going to evolve. The relationship is still going to be deep and intimate, and you're still going to evolve. But yeah, you miss out on the full potential of what this relationship could give. And if you stay in this reverse position, then you will move into number 7, the Chariot, also reversed. And we don't want that. You don't want to be moving through the karmic journey in a reverse position, because then you're missing out on a lot, and there's a lot of risk. So you want to turn that around. And that's your reading. So welcome, John Silva. Mercy, you haven't missed your reading. You're up next. John Silva, welcome. Has someone done a spell on me to make me unattractive? I doubt it. If anyone's done that, it would be you. Anyway, we will have a look at that for you. Kitri Shavan wants to know, should I go for UPSC exam, civil services? Is it the right career path for me? And Farah M is just giving loads of hugs, virtual hugs back at you, Farah. I hope that you got plenty of value out of that spread and clarity. Like, I hope the value was worth the value you traded in return for it, in other words. And you're most welcome, and thank you so much for the support and helping me meet those goals. I can't really tell if the meter has moved, but it should have. I'm gonna check it out and see if the meter's moved. Because I also didn't hear the notification. Did you guys see the GIF that came on the screen? Hey, check it out! I just hit the 100 follower mark on Twitch. Nice, thanks guys. But yeah, I see that the meter has updated, so that's cool. Yep, it was 35 when I started, so yep, it's definitely updated. I'm very glad to hear that you got clarity from that, Farah. Anyway, Shivi, welcome back. I'm doing okay. Thank you so much for joining the queue. Yeah, I hope you don't have to wait until 2 a.m. today to get your reading. I did try and come online a bit earlier, but there were still some resistances. The network was down again. Yeah, I almost gave up. My mouse, the battery in my mouse died, so I couldn't even I had to figure everything out on the keyboard, navigating through Open Broadcast Studio with a keyboard. A lot of fun. Okay, so Mercy, you're next. Let's see. What was your question? Will there be a future with you and Solomon? Ish. I Love Robots says keyboards are quicker than mouse. I don't know, I Love Robots. I like the combination of the two. I'm very much used to the combination of the two. So not having the mouse... You know, I don't have all of my keys bound. But anyway. Like on my old setup I had start stream bound to the star key, but I don't have it bound that way anymore. So is it worth it for Mercy to stay in this relationship with Solomon? Welcome, Fireball Barney. So Q is growing. It's growing pretty quickly. Chat is cool. We're having some cool conversations, bouncing some ideas. Just after a single card draw, if that's okay, no problem. Then I'll be settled. If you don't feel it, that is perfectly okay. Yeah, I always feel it. So you're welcome to join the queue. I'm sure I will get to you today. So Mercy, your first card here is number 16 of the drums. It's the Tower. So this card it's a cool card. Like, this is something we have to do regularly, is acknowledge our false beliefs, the things that we've believed about ourselves and the universe and our relationships and what we're capable of. Things we've believed that are not true. We reflect on them, we identify them, and we work them out. We let go of them. And if we don't, then the universe comes along and does it for us, and that's painful. So this card is indicating that you've been doing it of your own accord, and that is very healthy, so the universe doesn't have to do it for you. You can avoid unnecessary pain. But basically that's why you're asking me this question: is there a future? Is it worth sticking around with Solomon? Because you've learned some things about the relationship that you had previously believed to be true, discovered now that they are not necessarily as accurate or as true as you thought. And that's okay. Present interval is the Ace of Discs reversed. So this is talking about miscommunication. In the present, there are some things about health that either you or Solomon are not communicating to the other. Like, you might have some health issues that you're not communicating. He might have some health issues that he's not communicating. Financial situation, there's some miscommunication going on about the financial situation, maybe some lies. Sexual situation, sexual boundaries are being neglected and not spoken about, omitted. So yeah, there's a lot. This isn't really great. You want to either turn that card around or run away very quickly, because nothing good is going to come out of an Ace of Discs reversed. Having that, not being able to communicate clearly about your health problems or your sexual boundaries or your finances, and having him hide certain aspects of his financial life from you, or his neglecting to tell you about certain health issues you might be having, that's no good at all in a relationship. Future interval card, 5 of Wands reversed. So this card is saying that both of you still have a bit of baggage from past relationships, and being in this relationship now is kind of reaching too far. There's a lot of things you should have worked through before getting into a new relationship. Yeah, this card is warning that you are seeing a lot of things in him that you saw in your old partners. So relationships you've already been in, certain behaviors and character traits of past partners, you're seeing it in him, and it's not even true, it's not even there, but you're seeing it anyway. And the same applies to him. He's looking at you and he's seeing character traits and behavioral patterns from past relationships that are not even there, and that's because of the baggage that you guys are still carrying from your past relationships, stuff that hasn't yet been worked through. So trying to take this relationship long term in the present is kind of reaching too far. There's a lot of inner work and self-work that you both need to do before that is actually feasible. You can go ahead and give it a try, but there will be a lot of resistance, and you will often feel like you're going backwards in the relationship instead of making progress. So yeah, I guess you've got to decide if it's worth it or if it's not. Hey Kitson Wolfkit, welcome back. I'm glad to see you stopping by again. Before I move on to the next reading, I just want to ask my brother a favor. Hey Dave.
Yeah?
Will you do me a favor?
What's up?
Do me a solid, bro.
What's up?
Will you like look behind this door and turn the stereo on for me? Thanks. Thanks so much. Hey Evo. You came into the stream and immediately got answers to your own issues. Hectic.
How do I do that exactly?
You just press the video button, bro.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the vibes of today are pretty weird. For me, it's been like a cloudy day. It is literally raining outside, but I mean... So... It's like inspiration is a mountain. I've often used that analogy. So I feel like my inspiration is a mountain as opposed to motivation and passions. But today I feel like that inspiration is not visible. Like I know it's there. I know it's there. If I look in that place where it usually is, I know it's still there, but I can't really see it. There's things clouding it. There's things in the way. And that's kind of how today has felt. I tried to draw. I couldn't bring myself to put any marks on the page. Did you figure it out?
Yeah, it's on, but it's making like weird buzzing sound.
Yeah, now press that video button until it says video.
Yeah, it says video.
Okay, cool.
Okay, it stopped making that noise.
Then it's good.
Okay, cool.
Shivi Rajaj, welcome. And answering Kitson Wolfkit, I think I just described how I'm doing. So I hope you're doing well. But I think it's really cool, Evo, that you came into the stream and what I was saying to Mercy resonated with you and answered some of your own questions. Thank you, Shivi. I hope so too. So now we've got two Shivis. We've got Shivi Rajaj and Shivi. So I'm going to call Shivi Rajaj just simply Rajaj, and I'm going to call Shivi Shivi. I see calming vibes was also saying feeling a little down. Hey Shivi, I'm sure that there are more Shivis than just two on YouTube, but there are two Shivis following my channel at any rate. I don't believe in coincidence, Shivi. But now where are we with this queue? We did Farah M's reading, we did Mercy's reading. Oh. So next in the queue is Kitri Shavan. So Kitri, let me know if you're still here, because you're up next. So Rajaj, please go ahead and type #tarot with your question, and that'll put you in the queue. But anyway, we're waiting for Kurti Shavan. Okay. After Kurti is John Silva. John Silva wants to know if someone has hexed him with a spell to make him unattractive. So John Silva, are you still here? Oh, Kitri is here. Awesome. Thank you. Should you go for USPC exam? Civil Services? Did you study for the exam? Because if you did, then you should go for the exam. If you still got to study for the exam, then I don't know, maybe not. I don't know, Gopika, I don't see you in the queue. I thought I would have seen you by now, but where are you? Oh, you are there. You were After Mercy. Oh shit. After Mercy actually came DJ, and then I Love Robots, and then Gopika. I don't know how I missed all that. And then Keep Up with Kefian. So Kurti, I made a grievous error. You are not up next. Please have patience with me. So yeah, After Mercy it was DJ Nonino. So DJ, are you here? Because you're up next. Thanks for your question, Shivi. I mean, Rajaj. Welcome, Radha Gupta. But yeah, we're waiting for DJ to confirm because DJ is up next. DJ, you can let me know what your question is so I can do that reading for you. Thank you so much, Kitri, Kurti. Okay, if DJ isn't here, then we're looking at I Love Robots 1, 2, 3. I Love Robots, DJ. Are you guys gone? Oh wait, there we go. There's I Love Robots. Thanks for sticking around, Robots. 1, 2, 3. I also like robots. So what's on the table for Robots Love Life? What do you know? So we've got a 9 of swords reversed. So that's talking about where you've come from in past relationships, past love. So in those relationships there were some mishaps, some goals weren't met, like you had some milestones in mind of what the relationship, how much the relationship should have grown in X amount of months or years or whatever, and it didn't meet those milestones. So you reflected on it and you were asking yourself, like, what's happened that this relationship is stagnated, why have things turned out this way? And the card being reversed indicates that you had a tendency to say it was the environment's fault, like someone lost their job or family got involved, or you found some reason to say it was to do with the environment. And that's true. Sure, there were environmental variables that impacted it, but there was also a part that you had to play, and there was also a part that your partners had to play within that stagnation. And that is something you overlooked during your self-reflection, and it's something you've overlooked with each of these relationships. Each time you've neglected to observe your own part in misfortune within the relationship. So that card is coming up saying to you that as you go forward into the future, into future relationships, you don't want to make that mistake again. You want to always be able to see your own part to play. Never even mind the environment, never even mind other people, but your own part. In the present, you have the Princess of Cups. So this one is saying that there is someone in your life that you have an emotional connection with, someone you go to for emotional support, and someone who comes to you for emotional support. Typically you guys are pretty hardcore. Like in your regular life you have a shield, you have this like mask that you wear and no one can fucking get through it. Yeah, you're a tough guy, both of you, in your regular life, but then when you interact with each other you really take off that shell and you come out and you let yourself be vulnerable with that person, and they let themselves be vulnerable with you. And this card is basically saying that there's a lot of potential for you right there in that relationship. It can develop into something more if you wanted to. A future interval card is number 2 of the trumps. It's the Priestess reversed. So this is saying that as you go forward, if you're taking this relationship, if you're going to make it a bit more serious and you're going to develop it, you need to commit to it. You're going to have to commit to it, so otherwise you risk losing out on that relationship. You miss losing out on the value and the abundance that exists there. By not taking it too seriously, by distancing yourself for whatever reason. The only reason this card would be showing itself is if you've had that tendency in the past where you've gotten into a relationship and it's all great for at first, you've reached out for the potential and it's great, it's all hunky-dory, and then at some point they do or say something and you start to isolate or distance yourself, or you start to climb inside that shell that you wear in public and stop being vulnerable with that partner. So basically this card is saying commit to that vulnerability and that connection. Don't at any point start hiding in your shell or isolating yourself from the partner, because that will sabotage. Yeah, that'll be self-sabotage. And I hope that you get some value out of that. Haha, Kits and Wolfkit and Barney, a thing. I would never have guessed. Is this a new person? So I Love Robots, it's basically saying that there's already someone in your life. Someone that you are able to be emotionally honest and vulnerable with. And someone who is emotionally honest and vulnerable with you. So at this point there isn't anything serious about this relationship, but you are able to be more authentic with that person than with anyone else in your life. And it's saying that that's where the potential for future relationship is. That's where your potential for love is. It's right there in that relationship. Oh, it definitely looks like Kits and Wolfkit and Fireball Barney are a thing. I love all the affection in public, Barney. I love it. I think you're entirely missing the point of what the cards are saying to you, Love Robots. So Kapika Carol is next. God's abundant blessings. And then Keep Up with Kefian is after that. Is my audio off now as well? I guess I'm gonna have to check. Let's find out. Nah, the audio is working. It's out of sync, but it's working. Nah, the audio is working. It's out of sync, but it's working. Yep, it's working just fine. Yeah, I don't know what I can do about that. I have no idea what I can do about that dub. There doesn't seem to be a solution. So you want to know if you're gonna have to go through another spine surgery, or you want to know what's on the table for you in your career? Because yeah, I'm gonna read from one of those questions. They might be linked, but okay, so the universe is answering you anyway. Knight of Swords, first card. This card is basically saying to me that whatever this ailment is, that you have to keep going for reoccurring surgeries and hospitalization. Each time that you go through that, it creates like a whole rebirth in your mission, in your goals and your objectives. You too, robots. I hope you have a great day further. Queen of Swords in the present, Gopika. This is saying to me that you're kind of expecting. You're expecting to have to go for another spine surgery. You're also expecting a certain outcome from your career. Whatever it is that's in your mind, you've got an attachment to the outcome. So this card wants to say to you, motivation is fleeting. You want to be driven by your inspiration. So your attachment to the outcome is not a worthy motivator, because yeah, things are seldomly ever going to turn out the way you expect. So applying your creativity because of your expectation for the outcome, it's not going to last. It's going to burn out. So you need to find what really inspires you. What inspires you? Like, what is your heart's desire? What do you want out of life more than anything else? Because that'll be your inspiration. And you can always turn back to that. It's not something that goes away. It's not something that changes. So you've got to let that be your motivator, rather than the visualization of an outcome that hasn't even happened yet. Future interval is number 10, Fortune. So this is saying that everything that you've invested since your last spine surgery thing, everything that you've been doing, because we saw you had a rebirth after that, so everything that you've invested your time and energy into since then is going to bring returns for you. That doesn't look like financial returns, but if you have been investing into some kind of project, if you've been starting a business, then the time that you've invested into that will also result in gains and profits. If you haven't started a business and you're not trying to develop your career, then this is talking about other things, health and education and self-development, emotional fulfillment. It's talking about wealth in all the other ways. If you have got systems in place that give you finances, then it is also talking about that. Watching from the UK, it might be our side. Nah, the dub is like It's in real time. This has no delay. That has a delay. So I give this one a delay to match that one, but the weather changes and the delay on that increases or decreases, and this one stays constant. So that's the issue. So checking my queue after Gopika Carol, who came next? Keep Up with Caffeine. Is nomming, Kitsan Wolfkit is nomming on pilot bread crackers with peanut butter. Damn. Won't you share some of that peanut butter crackers? Would love some peanut butter crackers. I'll come fetch them tomorrow. By that I actually mean I'll go and buy peanut butter and crackers tomorrow. Yeah, it would be cool, eh, if we could like just open a portal and like pass it through the portal. Keep Up with Caffeine is next. But I don't know if Keep Up with Caffeine is still here, so I'm gonna give him a moment to confirm. Having a look to see who was after Keep Up with Caffeine. Who was after that? So Keep Up with Caffeine, and then Kurti. So yeah, Keep Up with Caffeine is gone, it would seem. So Kurti, if you had enough time to stick around until now, you're next. Cool. Thank you so much, Kitsan Wolfkit. This is one of my favorite sweaters. It's really cozy and warm, and I love this like long polar neck thing it's got going on. And the whole knitted like vibe, it's so cool. I love it too. Thank you. So I remember you were saying, Kurti, that you haven't begun studying for this yet, but it's something that you have set in motion. Is civil services and the UPSC exams the correct career path for the one referred to as Kurti Shavan? Oh, by the way, Evo, I feel like the systems that are they're not broken but not serving me anymore, that I have to let go of, that I should let go of, were the multi-platform streaming thing that I started out with. It served me until and it's not broken, but it's not serving me as well as it was when I started out. And so yeah, I've taken action there. I cancelled Facebook, I cancelled Twitter, I cancelled LinkedIn, and I cancelled Discord. I'm done with them. Yeah, just YouTube and Twitch, and I've already made the decision that I'm going to divide content between YouTube and Twitch. Twitch is going to get some exclusive lives, and YouTube is going to get pre-recorded stuff exclusively, music, art, whatever. Yeah. There will still be cross-platform streams between the two, between YouTube and Twitch, but I'm going to make them less. So 2 of discs reversed. This is for you, Kurti. Kurti Shavan. 2 of discs reversed. This is your first card. So this card is coming up to just make you aware of the past. It's saying that in the past you've had opportunities like this before. Opportunities to study something and get a career within it. And you didn't commit to it. So you reached out, you started the process, but then you gave up on it. You didn't follow it through to the end. And so this card is saying to you that it doesn't matter if this is the right career path for you or if there's something that's better. It doesn't really matter what the fuck you choose to do, but if you just commit to it, whatever it is that you choose to do, as long as you commit to it, it will produce abundance for you, and it will give you some sense of a platform to work from. Even if it's not the end goal and at some point you want to change it, you have to commit to it for at least a few years before you're going to see any kind of returns coming out of it. And that's something you've failed to do in the past, is failed to commit to something long enough for it to actually give you any value in return. Present interval card is the 8 of Swords, also reversed. So, what am I getting from this one? So this card wants to say to you that there are a lot of distractions in your space. You want to start a studying program, you want to start studying for an exam. There are a lot of things in your environment currently that are a distraction to that. So if you're serious about starting this thing, you're going to need to make some shifts, make some changes to your present. Because in the present, you're spending a lot of time on social media. You're spending a lot of time doing things that will become distractions and hindrances to your study routine. So identify them now, even before you start studying. Identify them now, things that distract you, things that you know will be a distraction or a hindrance, and start cutting them out, minimalizing their impact on your space. Maybe choose to dedicate a certain area of your house or your room that's specifically dedicated to study and work, and you don't do anything besides study and work when you're in that place. Like, you don't go there to eat a sandwich, you don't go there to check your phone. The only time you go there is to study. That might be a good idea. Future interval, Princess of Discs. Princess of Discs. How is this like in any way relevant to civil services and career? It's talking about a relationship. It's saying what's opening up for you is a relationship. A physically intimate relationship. Like a sexual relationship. And I have no idea how that corresponds to any of this that we've already seen. Okay, I guess it's kind of saying that this relationship that's opening up is going to help you secure yourself. It's going to help make sure that you've got enough, you've got a roof over your head and food to eat and clothes to wear. So you're going to help each other financially, help secure one another. And I guess that maybe it's a stress for you, that's part of something you're stressing about as you go forward into the studying, like how you're gonna how you're going to secure yourself financially while you're studying. And I guess this is the answer to that. Yeah, I also don't see why this, but it's what's opening up for you, so maybe your perspective is going to change. Physical intimacy is what's opening up. It might be a solution to a problem that you've been having, or a resistance. Skitties, welcome, wants to know if Karen still sees you as Bella. So, Skitties, I don't feel like this question has value. I don't feel like you receive any value by me answering this question. I don't feel, yeah, it just feels valueless to me. So, I will answer your question, but this will be the last time that I answer that question. And I need to ask questions that will give you value in their answer. But before I move on, because who is next? Let me see who's next, and then I will roll a cigarette for myself. So after Curti, we had John Silva, who left, and then we have Shivi. Shivi says, will there be a reunion with me and the person that I love? And then additional little PS, Karin, you have very deep and intensely beautiful eyes. Thank you so much, Shivi. What color are they? I wonder, what color are my eyes? I just want to know if you guys can see them, because when I watch my streams, my eyes look like a color that I've never seen before, so I'm just interested to hear what you guys see. But thank you so much. Now John is gone. What's that? Thanks. I actually want to roll my own. Thanks. There's ashtrays inside, dude. Yo. Well, good night. Fireball Barney says dark amber brown. That's so crazy. I have dark amber brown eyes. That's fucking insane. Because that's what I see as well when I look at them. Shivi says, I see dark brown. Let me know the actual color. So you won't believe me if I tell you what color my eyes are, because it doesn't look that way. Kits and Wolf Kid says, more so a hint of yellow sun. It's crazy, because that's what I see as well when I look at my own streams and my videos. I see that like fiery color, that fiery amber yellow sun color. The truth is that my eyes are a deep sea blue with yellow rings around the pupils. I think so too, Barney. Honey amber brown with hints of sun. Yep, I also think that it has to do with the spirit. And it's, yeah, it has to do with the physical. Yeah, I threw it there, Dave. Don't worry about it. Dave, can you just leave it there?
Oh. John asked you to leave it there. Must be some kind of reason.
They're having a discussion about why I would throw the purple mixing bowl out in the rain. Thank you so much, Kits and Wolf Kit. I have a very pretty soul and spirit. That's very sweet. Okay, well, we're doing a reading for Shivi now. Don't blush. Did I blush? Ish. I need to work on my stoic countenance a bit, I guess. Okay, so did you give me a question, Chibi? I think you did. You wanted to know about reconciliation? Reunion and reconciliation? Cool. Sorry, not sorry, but I wish to draw one eye with those colors now. Please do. Would love to see it. Okay, so will there be reunion and reconciliation between Shivi and the one she loves? Skitties, I did add you, yeah. I think I made like a deliberate note of your question. So, Kits and Wolfkit, have you been like closeted until now? Have you been like hiding your artistic talent? No. No, we don't light a candle and then put a bowl over it. What nonsense is that? I'm so glad to hear that you're finally expressing that identity, being a spirit artist. Okay, so Shivi, your past interval card is a 10 of Cups. That's cool. 10 of Cups, satiety, happiness, fulfillment. It's basically saying that this relationship has been really fulfilling, and that all of the emotional energy that you've given to him is returned to you, like even investment. And that's really cool in relationships. Present interval card, Prince of Cups reversed. Okay. So this card is telling me that the reason there's like distance or struggle in your relationship right now is because one or both of you has had some serious emotional experience. Something big has been triggered in your emotional being, and you haven't quite known how to deal with it, how to channel it or cope with it properly. So the way you've been handling it is just to endure it, and just to like endure. Things have to get better if I just endure. But there's more to it than that. There's more to it than just enduring. Because there will be little flat moments. There'll be like levels. You'll feel like you're climbing up, and then there'll be levels, and then you'll be climbing again. So the experience, the difficult emotion is going to keep coming back unless you face it and find its root, uproot it. So yeah, this card is just saying to you that enduring through it and just being like, I'll just keep pushing through is not quite enough for this. And the longer you try and just like evade it, the more distance it's going to put between you and your partner. So there's your key, Shivi. Go into that emotional experience, go into that difficult feeling, find its root, and integrate it. Go back into that memory where you had that trauma, bring yourself into the present and say, hey look, that thing doesn't exist where we are right now. Future interval is 4 of discs reversed. So this kind of talks about an unraveling. What's opening up is an unraveling in your physical relationship. Priorities becoming mismatched, stagnation becoming normal, overwhelm being the primary stressor, feeling overwhelmed by responsibilities, and that that kind of overwhelm can prevent a person from actually fulfilling their responsibilities. Instead, we start putting things that are less important, hobbies and other things, in front of responsibilities. So that's the unraveling that's coming, and it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be an unraveling. It doesn't have to be a collapse of your structure. I guess it's a warning saying that that's something that's a risk. You risk unraveling. The relationship risks unraveling, and some of the red flags that are going to show up is mismatched priorities, distraction, like binge watching series instead of fulfilling responsibilities, things to look out for. If you catch them in time, you can prevent the unraveling. Hey Captain, welcome. So Shivi Rajaj, there's like 2 platforms we're working on here. So you've missed some names that are on Twitch. John is not here. Shivi just got a reading. I'm feeling like there might be someone in between you, in between the 2 Shivis. You're welcome, Shivi. I'm glad that you finally got that value you were after, that you missed out on Friday. Yeah, so we got Fireball Barney up next. And then Rajaj, you come up in the chat after that. John Silver, you were like way up at the top of the queue and you're only back now, so I'm gonna have to ask you to rejoin the queue. Yeah, so it's Fireball Barney, and then after Fireball Barney is Rajaj, Shivi Rajaj. Oh, I missed this in the chat earlier, where Fireball Barney said, I went to a druid grove near mine, just got back, very chill and primal zen, loved it, haven't been in years. So what is a druid grove, if I might ask? John, I did call your name like multiple times, so yeah, please rejoin the queue. Fireball Barney says, before you draw, I would like to just give thanks to the universe for all I have and yet to come. Now question, just 1 card. Cool, we'll do it. And a druid grove is a natural copse in the wood. Very strong energies and sacred to nature, spirits, fae, etc. Okay, no question. So John, you can rejoin the queue now at the point that you are. I'm not going to prioritize you because you missed your reading. Giving thanks for everything that we have in our present and everything that is yet to come. Number 16. The Tower reversed. So, this is just saying that the universe is presenting you with new people, new connections, new circumstance, new situations, and yeah, like a whole new reality that is making you aware of things that you've previously believed that are not true. Things you believed about the universe, about yourself, and about what you've been capable of that hasn't necessarily been true. And it's been jarring and painful and frightening. And you have two options. You can either justify the insecurities, tell yourself a new insecure story that of why it's the universe or why it's the environment that is to blame for these insecurities, or you can acknowledge them and remove them, and instead founding your identity on strong foundation stones, things that are absolutely true. Like your authentic character, your ideal character. You're right. Yes, you're right. Your baggage is falling away. You feel it, and this is the reason for the confusion. Bingo. You can let it scare you, yep. Or you can relax and accept it. Now you choose acceptance. Amin. So next up is Rajaj. You're welcome, Barney, and thank you for your interaction and your support and your viewage and being a part of this new community that is forming here. Which career will bring me the most happiness and stability? CSR manager, IT manager, CTO, starting a business, college teaching, coding, graphics design, or consultancy? Okay, that is not a question for the tarot. But yeah, those things, that your chariot is divided. You're like in a corridor, and there are all of these different doorways that go off of the corridor. Each of those doorways is a possible future, and you're contemplating all of these doorways and which way to go. But as long as you sit here and you ask yourself these questions, none of it's going to manifest. You've got to choose one of those. The tarot's not going to choose it for you. Shivi says, by the way, I want to confirm that your spells definitely are effective, at least your positive ones. My brother and I didn't get along before, now we do. Thank you so much. You are welcome, Shivi. And thank you so much for that feedback. So, Rajaj, I'm going to ask the tarot to give you some kind of confirmation as to what's aligned with your heart's desire. Shivi, if you choose a couple, make sure that they work together. Make sure that they're like pillars of a temple or pillars of a castle, that they work together and support one another. So like college teaching and graphics design could go together, or college teaching and coding could go together. Graphics design, own business, and consultancy could go together. Give Rajaj the confirmation and the pointers that are necessary for him to identify what is truly his heart's authentic desire. Welcome, Jasmine Dogra. Cheers, Barney. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you have a great evening as well. Okay, so Rajaj, your first card is the Tower reversed. Number 16 reversed. So you've tried this before, you've tried choosing career paths before, and you realized as you try to step out and claim them, you realized that what you'd believed about yourself and what you're capable of wasn't true. Like you based the possibility of your success in things that weren't true, in things you believed about yourself that weren't true. And that was jarring and frightening, and it kind of scared you away from doing this again or reaching out for anything else. It kind of left you feeling hopeless, confused, and scared. But it's coming to a close, that's done. And it has a bit of advice for you. It wants to say to you that you need to do this reflection of your own accord. You need to identify false beliefs of your own accord, because otherwise the universe is going to do it for you, and it's going to keep on coming around and you're going to get hurt. If you reflect on your false beliefs of your own accord and do it in your own time, you can avoid a lot of unnecessary pain. In the present, we have a 8 of Swords. This is saying to me that you're trying to make some adjustments. You want to adjust your life so that it can balance with your education. You have certain education in certain topics in certain fields, and the career paths you have been following or the lifestyle you have been living has not been compatible with that education. You haven't found a way to integrate what you've studied and learned into a secure career path. And so you're letting go of certain habits and certain aspects of your lifestyle, and adopting new ones in order to find a way to incorporate them. And so what more that card can say to you is that first find the lifestyle that works for you. First shift and find that balanced lifestyle, and then incorporate your education and choose your career path based on that lifestyle. Because the lifestyles you have been leading and the habits you have been carrying it's not really worked for you. It's not really been balanced. So you've got to find a place that you can actually live, that you can live and feel fulfilled in that lifestyle, and then see how your career can alter or grow this, how it can fit in. Future interval, 9 of swords. Okay, so this one wants to say to you, have a look at your past. Have a look at this venture that you took here that resulted in identity crisis. Have a look at that. Have a look further back. Have a look at the time that you spent studying. And basically the point of this is so that you can see where you did really well and where you didn't do so well. Because in the places that you didn't do so well and the places where you made mistakes, you want to learn from it. You don't want to repeat those mistakes. You don't want to take... So even if you passed a certain subject when you were studying it, it might not have been one of your good subjects or something you did well in. So consider that. You don't want to take something that was one of your weaknesses and try and form a life around it. You want to choose the education that you really thrived in as something to build your life around. And that's what that card has to say for you. Thank you so much. If that was a subscription or a follow, thank you so much. I asked my brother to turn on the stereo so I can hear the notifications, and then he shut the door so I can't see what the notification is about. Gotta have one or the other, can't win. So, Shivi, we just gave you a reading. Shivi Rajaj, we just gave you a reading, and as the description says, 1 free reading per viewer. If you'd like to rejoin the queue, please send a tip. So, this suggested tip over here, that gets a 6-card deeper reading, and it also moves you to the top of the queue. But that's not necessary to rejoin the queue. If you've already received a 3-card reading, you can join just by any amount. Jasmine Dargo says, should I post my question? No, you shouldn't, because you already did, so thank you very much. You are in the queue. Kitsan Wolfkit says, Fireball Barney will send you something for me. Amazing. Thank you so much. I look forward to it. So does that mean we're gonna pull a card for you, Kitsan Wolfkit? Does that mean that you want to be in the queue? Oh. Okay. It's just a tip for me. Thank you so much. Much appreciation. I'm checking my queue now to see who is next. It's up to me to decide if you're joining the queue? We'll see. Sent it, says Barney. I haven't received a notification for it. But thank you. I'll trust that it's coming through. At this point, Radha joins the queue. So Radha Gupta, you are right. You are next. Will you and your boyfriend have a happy lifelong marriage? Will me and my boyfriend have a happy lifelong marriage? Oh, Fireball Bonnie sent it via Discord. Okay. Very interesting. So it must be a picture, an image, or a video or something. A song, maybe. Maybe a reading. Okay, so that must be the notification. The bizip. But will you and your boyfriend have a happy lifelong marriage? You see, that I don't know. That's not the kind of question that you ask the tarot. That's something you gotta choose for yourself. That's something you decide. Yeah, so I'm gonna just get a little message from the universe for you, Radha. I'm not gonna ask about that question because that question is up to you. It's up to you and your boyfriend. The universe will not interfere. Oh snap, there is your general guidance for you. Two of Wands. This is saying that there are opportunities for your desires. You've got to reach out and seize them. You've got to commit to them if you want to see them become your reality. If you want to see them manifest, you want to see your desires of having a happy lifelong marriage become a reality, you need to commit to a lifelong marriage and a lifelong relationship. The other card is the Three of Swords, reversed. So that is saying that you haven't fully become aware of what that actually looks like, of what kind of responsibilities this desire puts on you and him, what a happy lifelong marriage actually requires. It hasn't fully dawned on you yet what that requires and what the responsibilities of that means, and when you do, it's going to be overwhelming. It's going to feel like it's too big and that you're never going to be able to have it. So this card just wants to let you know that anything that you desire, anything that you visualize, can be realized. Even if you weren't fully aware of what's required of you in order to get there, you can make the decision to match those requirements and meet those responsibilities. But it is up to you. Future interval, this is a suggestion. Don't ever put yourself out of your way for anyone else. Don't deliberately try and pour out of your cup into someone else's. Just exist authentically as who you are, because that way you allow the environment to receive its potential. It's like the sun. The sun radiates light, and it's not trying to radiate light, it's just being itself. And that light gives our planet its potential to bring forth life and abundance. So you need to be like that in your life. If you're trying to give deliberately out of yourself and deliberately push energy into people and projects around you, you're going to run dry and you're going to feel drained. You need to exist authentically and forget about that idea of pleasing others. People pleasing, forget about it completely. Okay, well, cheerio then, Fireball Barney and Kitsun Wolfkit. I'm gonna check out whatever that little neat gift was you sent me on Discord. Looking forward to it. Quite excited. I'm hoping it's like a picture of an eye, because that would be a lot of fun. That's very sweet, Jasmine. Thank you for the emotional and spiritual support that you're giving. And you're welcome, Radha. I hope that you got some value from that. So I'm going to close the queue in 10 minutes. Those of you who are in the queue already, don't stress, I will give you your readings. But if there's anyone new in the chat who hasn't received a reading and hasn't joined the queue, I'm going to close the queue in 10 minutes, so yeah, don't dally. I just noticed that Kitsun Wolfkit said that she has to, or he has to, mail the peanut butter and crackers. Get them to mail it down to you. Okay, so it looks like the next one in the queue is Skitties. So Skitties, you're next. And I just want to reconfirm that I don't feel like this question is valuable or that you receive any kind of value out of it. Nothing substantial. And so I'm going to answer this question, but it will be the last time that I answer this question. Just waiting for you to confirm. I'm going to call out the names in the order that they appear. Skitties. Shorty Baby. Captain Roz. John Silver. Jasmine Dogra. And that is everybody in the queue. And And Jasmine says, keep drinking water in between. Thank you. I will remember to hydrate. But it looks like Skitties has left. Probably for the best. There was no value in that question anyway. So, who did I say was after that? Shorty Baby on Twitch. Eva would like to get a reading too. Cool. So I'll put you in the queue after Jasmine Dogra. Thank you for joining the queue. I look forward to that reading. But it looks like Shorty Baby's not here. Sad. Captain Ross on YouTube. John Silver says, you truly are giving off some type of spiritual vibe, I must tell you. That's great to hear. Thank you. And welcome to Rocky's World 777. Readings are still available for the next few minutes, so if you want to join that queue, go ahead and do so right away. Because I'm going to close the queue in like 5. Oh, snap, queue's closed. Jasmine Dogra says, you're from the USA? Not a chance am I from the USA. Sabrina, I'm afraid the queue is closed. So those who are in the queue are getting readings, but I'm not taking any more readings from this point onwards. Sorry. Why does everyone look at me when I'm outside, says Captain Ross. So I can tell you off the top of my head, the first message I'm getting for you is because you don't go outside often enough. So people are like, oh my god, he's outside. But let's ask the tarot. So why is Captain Roz being stared at? And what kind of vibes does he give off? So Rocky World 777, I was mistaken when I said the queue was still open. Yeah, I checked the clock and it was actually closed. So Evo Lucija is the last one in my queue, and we've got a few in between. But thank you for joining. Please subscribe, hit the notification button, and you'll be notified when I'm live again, which is Wednesday, although I don't do tarot on Wednesday. I do a lot of other things. I cast spells, and I scry into a bowl of water. I seek visions in a bowl of water, and what else do I do? Reiki healing, and we chat. We get to know each other. Okay, so Captain Ross, your first card is the Ace of Wands reversed. So people are sensing that you are hiding something. That you have hidden motivations, hidden intentions, hidden desires. So you do express these things when questioned, but people get the sense that you're not being entirely honest, or that you're hiding the true extent. And now I get it, you are hiding the true depths of your desires and motivations because you don't know if other people will be able to hold it, or if they'll be able to accept you once they know what it is that you are passionate about. But that creates a little bit of weariness for people, because they feel like there's something missing, and people are generally scared of what they don't know. Okay, so in the present I've got number 21 for you. The card is reversed. It's called the Universe. So this card is saying to me that you have a tendency to allow your shadow to rule your life instead of you ruling your life. So you have this vision in your mind of what your life should be looking like, or how you want your present to look. And you try and create a balance between the two, like as above, so below, as within, so without, trying to make your physical external universe correspond with your internal universe. But then when you actually take action to do that, then you get distracted, or some aspect of your shadow or the parts of yourself that you're not so proud of, they come up and they get in the way, and you have a tendency to allow it, to permit it, and you don't learn from it. Like the Universe card, the right way around is you take action to make your inner world correspond with the outer world, and then a distraction comes up or a shadow aspect sabotages you, and then you learn from it and you say, okay, so I know that if I sit down to write an article and I've got my Facebook tab open, every time I get a notification it distracts me and I go there, so I'm going to remove Facebook from this laptop that I write on. Basically learning from your shadow so you can find ways to work around it, and that's not something you've done. You've basically repeated the same cycle where the same shadow aspects keep coming up and keep derailing you the same way, and you don't really make the change that's necessary to get around it. And this is also something that people have been seeing. Basically, when you go out, people are staring at you because it's an unusual thing. It's like they don't usually see you around. They don't usually see someone like you, someone who dresses the way you do or acts the way you do. In the places that you go to, you stand out. But more than that, people are looking at each other. People are looking at a lot of different people. You're also being more aware that they're looking at you. Like, I might take a walk in the same street and everybody's head turns, but I don't necessarily notice it. So basically that card is saying, yes, people are looking at you, maybe not more than they look at other people. You're just noticing it. You're really taking notice of it. Future interval, Knight of Cups reversed. So this is talking about a rebirth opening up for you, a rebirth in your emotions and the way that you handle your emotions and interact with them. In the past, like we see with the Universe card, when you have a shadow aspect of yourself come up or a difficult emotion come up, you allow it to dictate your course of action. And what's opening up for you is that a death of that lifestyle where your emotions ruled you and your shadows ruled your life. That is dying, and a new reality is being born as you learn ways to work around your shadow, and you learn healthier ways to interact with your emotions, making decisions not to react to every emotional current that you experience, and sometimes choosing to do something constructive or something that seems to contradict the emotion if it feels like that is what is the best course of action for you. And that is very healthy and something I'm glad to see opening up for you in your life, and I wish you much fortune as you go ahead into that rebirth. It might be a bit scary, but it is in your interest, so embrace it. It's also not something that you're going to choose. It's not something you have chosen. The universe is going to force this rebirth on you by bringing new people and new circumstances into your life. Jasmine, Captain, first of all said, it's truly uncomfortable for me when I walk past. Sometimes people turn around. It has nothing to do with my looks. It's mostly men. I must give some spiritual vibe. I know the feeling. I definitely know the feeling of having people stare at you to the point where they literally turn around or even stagger because now they're looking behind them while they're walking. I know that feeling. Um, Jasmine says, so basically you're an angel. I guess I am. I guess I am a messenger of some. I guess I am a messenger of the universe, a messenger of the divine. And melt like butter? Yes, please, melt like butter. Can I do a reading for you? I'm afraid I just closed the queue like 10 minutes ago. So you've missed me. The guys who are already in the queue are getting their reading still, but I'm not taking any new requests today. So please follow me if you haven't already, but I'm sure I've seen your name before. And yeah, then you'll get a little notice when I'm live on Wednesday. On Wednesday I don't do tarot, but I do other forms of divination. So yeah, I'll see you there. Jasmine Dorga, I'm not so sure that you're up next. John Silva's up next. John Silva, please don't miss out on your name. Last time I called your name, you said you didn't hear. Please pay attention. Please, John Silva. Let me know that you're still here so I don't have to skip you again. Amazing! Okay, so remind me what your question was, please. Because I've kind of lost it. Oh, has anyone done a spell to make you unattractive? Okay. Right. Oh. Okay, so there's your wild card. I'm going to interpret that for you in a sec. It's the Princess of Cups reversed. That's your advice from the tarot on what's going on. But I'm going to get you some steadfast clarity. Has John Silva been cursed to be unattractive? So that side-to-side swinging is a no. You have not been hexed or cursed, or no one has tried to enchant you to be unattractive. I just want to let you know this thing has never lied to me. Sometimes I've thought it has lied to me and then I was proven wrong. Okay, but your Princess of Cups. This is saying that you are not unattractive in your physical being. And you are not unattractive inside, but you have this like coping mechanism, this protection mechanism, like a shell, where you make yourself ugly deliberately. You make yourself ugly in character. You put on an ugly character. It's kind of like a coping mechanism, a shield, to protect yourself from heartbreak, to protect yourself from rejection. And that is what makes you ugly. It's what people are perceiving in the ugliness, but it's a mask. It's not even the true you. So that card wants to say to you, come out of that shell. You don't have to wear that shell, because who you are inside is beautiful, and who you are in your physical body is beautiful. So come out of that shell. Stop putting on that hardcore, nasty, calloused shell. You don't need to protect yourself from anything like that. It is true, John. There are a lot of people that envy all of us. We always want what's on the other side of the fence. But you should not be proud of the fact that others envy you. You should take pride in things that are secure, because being proud of envy is not a secure thing to base your identity on. Something that is secure would be something like compassion or love or forgiveness. To base your identity around being forgiving or compassionate, that's a solid foundation. Basing your identity around the fact that other people are envious of you is very insecure. So Jasmine Dorgo. Is she around me? Okay, so this is another yes or no question. Maybe they do, but they haven't done it with a spell. Maybe people are conspiring against you. Probably not. Maybe they are. Probably not taking action on their conspiracies. They just tell themselves all these vengeful stories in their mind to make themselves feel better, but do they actually take action to do that? Not likely. Do you? Do you ever conspire to hurt people and then actually go and do it? Or is it just something that plays out in your mind like a fantasy? So, Meadow Pollock died in 2018. Is she still around me? So, a little note on the deceased and the departed. There is a period of time that they will hang around, that they will be in certain people's spaces, but then they move on, and once they move on, they don't come to you. You go to them. You set up an altar to them, and you go into ceremony with them. You invoke or evoke them. Once they move on, it's up to you to go to them and make the connection. They don't come to you to make the connection once they've moved on. But we will still find out. We will still answer your question. Is she around you? Because maybe she is still stuck around here. Maybe she is still moving in and out between the realities. Maybe she hasn't moved on. You know, she did die in a school shooting, and that kind of sucks. So what do the spirits want to say to Jasmine regarding the spirit of Meadow Pollock? Has the one known as Meadow Pollock moved on from this reality? Answer is no. Is the one known as Meadow Pollock near to Jasmine Dorgo? Answer is again no. So, no, she has not moved on yet, but she's also not in your space. She's not around you. She's probably hanging out with the people that were very close to her heart. Father, mother, brother, sister, lover. What does the tarot have to say about it? It's the Three of Swords reversed. It's basically saying there's too much awareness of her spirit still in the space where she died. There are still fragments, there's still dust particles, fragments, mementos. So, when an event takes place in an environment, every atom that is touched through that event is altered from that moment onwards forever. So there are still too many reminders, there are still too many things in the school, in the location of her death, that have her essence imprinted on them. There are still marks on the walls, there are still marks on desks, there's still remnants of the shooting in the space, and until those things are cleared up and until they're moved on, she's gonna be stagnant there. And yeah. So you can help her out, I guess, by moving those things through, by clearing that stagnant energy. I'm not sure exactly how when it comes to a school grounds. But if there's something that you're seeing, like maybe a stone with blood on it, maybe, I don't know, if there's anything that you're seeing that you remember from that day, move it out of that space, take it somewhere else. Take it somewhere peaceful. Hey Kelly C. Webb. So my queue is closed. I'm giving readings to the guys who are in the queue. I'm not accepting any new readings. From Earth, yes, that will work. If you send some dollars, you can get into the queue. So a tip of any size will get you into the queue. This priority tip over here will get you a deeper reading, a 6-card spread, and it will prioritize you. It'll put you at the top of the queue. Yeah, I'm sure it's related to that desk. Is it the same desk that she used to sit at? You will find the link to my Streamlabs PayPal page in the description. That is the only way that I can receive international payments at this point. Okay, well, Jasmine, here are some pointers, here are some suggestions. If you can create a new experience around that desk, so the most profound experience that has happened with that desk is a death. If you can make something that's not traumatic, something that's exciting and happy, that involves that desk, you can help remove the stagnant energies. Perhaps using the desk for some kind of ritual, some kind of healthy ritual, a spell cast for new life maybe. But anyway, next up in the queue is Rose B. Rose B, please let me know if you're still here. You understand. Well, yeah, I guess now you can do some brainstorming. Thank you very much. So we've been online for 2.5 hours at this point, but we haven't got Rose B in the queue anymore. Okay, so we've got a priority tip from Earth. Thank you very much. That does prioritize you for the next reading. You have to put some thought into your question. Alright, well, I will request, I'll call out the names of whoever's in the queue. Rose B doesn't seem to be here. Welcome, Sami. Samia. Just want to let you know the queue is closed. You can still join the queue by sending a tip. The people who are in the queue are still getting their readings, but the free readings queue has been closed for the day. Okay, so Evo Lucija is up next. Evo Lucija on Twitch, if you're still here. Amazing, thank you so much. Do you have a question, or would you like a general collective reading? General. Let's do this. Welcome, J Street. So my free readings queue is closed for the day. Yeah, I'm giving readings to those who are in the queue, and you can still join the queue by sending a tip. But yeah, the free readings queue is closed for the day. I'll be live again on Wednesday doing some other stuff, some other magical esoteric stuff, so you can give me a subscription and you'll get a notification. Well, you have to click the bell as well. What general advice and guidance does the universe and the spirits have for Evo Lucija? Okay. Your first card here is the Prince of Swords. He's reversed. This card, it's kind of saying to me that you have deliberately put yourself in a position where you have no choice but to find some kind of creative solution to your problem. You have goals in mind, and you want to work towards them, and these goals are to do with your own education, like the amount of knowledge you have. These goals are to do with your intuition, your intuitive development. But you kind of felt stagnant. You felt like you weren't really making progress with these things. So you started removing other responsibilities to kind of put yourself in a position where you could focus on this and really find some kind of creative solution to make a breakthrough in that regards, in regards to your knowledge and in regards to your intuitive development. This is something that's coming to a close. So the card is reversed, which is indicating to me that it didn't really provide the solution you were looking for, although you did find value in that experience of trying to tap into your creativity and your potential. You were able to, but it didn't necessarily produce the growth or the breakthrough that you would hope for. It looked different to what you were expecting. But this is really encouraging. 19, the Sun card in the present. So this is saying that you are giving your environment and your projects their potential for abundance, just by being your authentic self, by existing authentically and being who you truly are and not trying to pretend to be someone else. Your vulnerability and your authenticity, it's working in your favor. Basically, it's giving life to your projects. It's giving life to your environment. Your authentic character is basically giving your projects, their potential for abundance, their physical wealth, like monetary abundance, stature, as in like influence, the amount of influence you have. Your authentic character is growing you, and it's giving abundance to your projects. It's giving them their potential, and that's really great. It has a little bit of advice for you. It's saying, don't at any point try and do things for the sake of others. It brings to mind something that I heard a DJ say. He said, if you start making music for the crowd instead of for yourself, you're fucked. So basically saying, continue to be authentic, continue to make your content for your own sake and what's authentic to you. Don't change what you are offering because you feel like your audience wants something else. Continue to give what you have to offer, because that's where you find your growth. Future interval card is the Lovers reversed, number 6 of the trumps. So this is saying that there is a new connection, there's a new relationship forming. It doesn't necessarily mean it's romantic, it just means that there's a new strong connection that's forming. And this connection, it makes you aware of your limits. It makes you aware of the limits you have on your technology and your knowledge and your abilities. Now, we're always limited. Every one of us has limits on what we're capable of. You have strengths, but you also have limits. I have strengths, but I also have limits. So this relationship, it's making you aware of your limits, but that's not a bad thing, because this person, this new connection, has information, has an example that you can learn from. You can overcome your limitations through this relationship, but first you're going to have to become aware of what those limits are. And this other person that is talking about is also going to evolve past their limitations as a result of interacting with you and learning from you. Welcome, Anxious AP. Hello to you. The last reading you had from me turned out to be right just the next day. Thought I'd give that feedback now that I'm here. Thank you so much for that feedback. That is very valuable. And then From Earth has posted his question. So I have a very odd experience in my life. All of a sudden, at the age of 15, my life took a turn where everyone around me, everyone was talking at me. Okay, I missed a part of that statement. Evo, I'm glad that you got value out of that. Very much so. Yeah, the lesson can be a long time coming. You know, everything's a lesson. And we will repeat the same lesson until we learn from it. So, back to From Earth. So I had a very odd experience in my life. All of a sudden, at the age of 15, my life took a turn where especially in my new school, people were crazy all over. It was too much. I had to leave the school in 2 days. People were asking for selfies, everyone wanted to be around me, everyone was talking at me, and all of this happened at the age of 15 all of a sudden. Before this, I was a loser. What was it that changed, that caused this sudden change in my life? Basically, people all treating me like a celebrity all of a sudden. Huh. That is very interesting and very strange. We will consult the tarot and we will find out what it has to say. You're saying you are Angelo, the Scorpio. Also would like to know what those people thought of me as the new kid who was only there for 2 days. Queen of Cups wants to know if they evolved together for a long time or just as a lesson. The connection never falls away, Queen of Cups. The Lover's card connection never falls away. Even if that relationship status changes, the connection never falls away. That relationship never dies. Okay, so I'm gonna try and find some less words. I'm gonna try and condense your question into like a handful of words. What was going on under the hood of consciousness that brought about all of the sudden celebrity and attention for Angelo? Can't wrap your head around what happened all of a sudden. So I've got 3 wild cards for you that just jumped out here. I'm going to interpret them briefly. First is 11 of the trumps, called Lust. The second card is 9 of discs, and the third card is a 6 of cups. Okay, so that number 11, it's kind of saying that they had some kind of expectation on your character. They had an expectation for who you would be or what you would be like. So this is what drove the attention initially. An attachment to an outcome, like being in love with this idea of a person, but not actually you as a person. And then that 9 of discs is saying, what is that 9 of discs saying? It's talking about reflecting on the physical world. They were reflecting on your physical appearance, like you had the same kind of energy and a similar resemblance to someone else that they had interacted with before, someone that really stood out to them. And the 6 of Cups is saying that they had hoped for emotional fulfillment. They had hoped to grow, become more emotionally mature by forming a relationship with you. It's still very strange, but let's look deeper. What was going on in the collective consciousness that brought about this sudden attention and celebrity for Angelo? So, this is the present and general overview. This is a crossing card. It's what is affecting the present and making it look the way it is looking. Conscious mind, what people had their minds fixated on, what they were consciously processing. Unconscious mind, what people were being affected by that they weren't even aware of, things that were going on in their unconscious and in their dreams that were affecting their behaviors without them even realizing. Past interval, this is where you and everyone involved came from and what you had recently experienced, things that were coming to a close that led into the present. Future interval, things that are still opening up and that are still to come for you. So, this present interval card and the general overview is number 17. It's called the Star. So this talks to me about a big influx of emotions that got stirred. Fear of missing out, excitement, and you and they, their behavior and the attention they gave you was their outlet, as it was the way that they coped with those feelings. There was something new happening and they felt a fear of missing out. This card also talks about overwhelm. It talks about being overwhelmed by all the possible futures that could come about. So you had endless possibility to them. You were unknown, you were shrouded in darkness, so you could have been a terrible person, or you could have been an amazing person. You might as well have been a celebrity. You had the potential to be anyone or anything because they didn't know who you were. And that's where those feelings of excitement and fear of missing out came from. And they felt overwhelmed, like they didn't really know how to cope with these feelings or whether or not this was worth it. If they had decisions to make, if they're going to miss out on this opportunity or if they're going to jump in and expect you to be someone that you're not. There were probably also some rumors that were going around, positive and negative rumors that gave you status. Crossing card. Things that influenced the present and brought them to be the way that they were. Number 16, the Tower. So this is kind of saying that you believed some things about yourself and what you're capable of that weren't true at that point. So that was kind of visible in your image, the way you presented yourself. Your identity seemed very strong and big, but the identity was actually based on things that were not necessarily true. You've learned and evolved since then, and you've worked those insecurities out. But at that point, your ego was very much built around these things that you believed, that some of them were true, some of them weren't. It was an insecure identity, but it looked very secure, and that was attractive. That was very attractive. Until they started pressing on those insecurities, and then it managed to elicit some negative reactions from you, to the point where you actually had to leave the school. But that was jarring for them as well, because they wanted to believe you were something more, that you were something else. They were in love with the idea of you, not who you actually were. And so when they did elicit those responses, and then when you did leave, it was jarring for them and their identities as much as it was for yours. Conscious mind, Queen of Cups. So this is going back to that attachment to outcome, that expectation. It's saying that in their conscious minds they had an expectation of who you were going to be, and how you were going to change their lives, or how you were going to impact their school. They had an attachment to an outcome, an expectation for a result, and that was a primary motivator for them in the way that they behaved. This card has a little bit more to say. It has to say that you are like a mirror, people have a tendency to see themselves in you. And so this was also what attracted them and attracted all the attention, is that people were seeing their own reflection in you, the things that they liked about themselves or they wished were true about themselves. They were seeing those things in you, whether it was true or not. They were seeing it there like you were a mirror. Now these things all remain the truth. Just by the way, you are still a mirror. People still see themselves in you. Their light and their darkness, whether it is actually there or not, they still see it. Unconscious mind. So something that was impacting their unconscious mind that they weren't even aware of, that you weren't aware of. Things that were being processed in the unconscious mind, that affected the present, that affected their conscious thoughts. And it is the Ace of Swords. So this is the communication of goals and purposes. Communicating intuitive nudges. Communicating scores and knowledge. I feel like this card is saying to me that in the unconscious mind, something that was impacting their behavior and their decisions in their unconscious mind, it was like there was this desire to learn from you. There was this like desire to evolve their knowledge or their scores, almost as if you were a wild card, as if perhaps you were a star student wherever you came from, or you came from a good school, and so they were hoping to get some kind of wild card, some kind of a little secret key that could help them in their studies and their ability to memorize information and their ability to get good marks or good grades. This is not something that they were conscious of, it was something that drove them in their unconscious. So I definitely feel like either there was an announcement, that you were coming and that you were a bright student, or you generally came from a better school than the one that you went to, and as people became aware of that, it drove them to connect with you, even though they didn't realize that they were being motivated by this selfish intention for self-development. Past interval card, so where you came from and things that led up to that event. And this card is the Eight of Swords. So this is an adjustment for you in your goals and your strategy. Around about 15, you had just recently decided what your outcome was. You had a vague idea of what career path you were going to choose. And so you were picking new subjects in alignment with that. You were making the changes to your habits and your lifestyle so that you could become the kind of person that you needed to be in order to live that career path or that future that you had chosen. And so that led up to the present moment, that charged you. Stepping out of who you were into who you needed to become, that kind of charged that experience, that is the shift. It might not seem like a big deal to you because you're the one who went through it, but this is a key moment that a lot of people miss out on. They stay in a place where they visualize endless opportunities, and as long as they visualize those endless opportunities, none of it manifests for them. Once you've chosen an outcome, it can start to manifest for you, and the very first thing that happens after that is you start to change from who you were into who you need to become to see that outcome realized. And that's what was happening for you, and that's what led up to that experience at that school. And as you say, things haven't really changed for you since then. It seems to be everywhere that you go now. Well, The tarot was saying at that moment where you chose who you're going to become, and you chose what you're going to do with your life, and the shifts that came thereafter, that was the charging moment. That was the moment of adjustment. Future interval card and things that are opening up for you is the Queen of Wands. So this is about motivation, being really motivated towards your desires and what you're passionate about. So the person that you started to become, the shifts you started to make there, that's part of your outcome, and your outcome can motivate you. It can give you motivation and drive. So you're going to be stepping into a place where that does motivate you, where you find your drive and your passion from the person that you're becoming. It can be really exciting. It's like it will be. To really acknowledge how much progress you've made since that turning point, and to imagine how much more progress you're going to make if you had to go the same amount of time into the future. It's going to be exciting, and it's going to motivate you and give you drive and fill you with passion. You'll be stepping into an intention, and that intention will be to exist as who you want to be and who you're passionate about being and what you're passionate about doing. This card has some warning for you. It's saying that you can turn these people away, you can push them away. If you doubt yourself, if you doubt this mission that you've set for yourself, this outcome, and this person that you're evolving into, if you doubt that, you will start to spin yourself stories to try and convince yourself of why it's possible. And when we do that, when we start telling ourselves those stories to convince ourselves, we have a tendency to project that onto the people around us, as if we're trying to convince them, when in reality we're trying to convince ourselves and eliminate our own doubt. But in that process of projecting it onto someone else and trying to convince them as if they don't believe in you, that can push people away. So that's something to be aware of. If you are not keen on this attention, you can push people away. Or otherwise you can let it motivate you, and you can let it be part of this new person that you are. You can be this new popular person who receives attention and live as that celebrity, and evolve in that and become the person that they think you are, and that they hope you will be, and that you hope you will be. And that is your reading. I hope that it does give you some value, even if it is not the answer you were looking for. I hope that it does give you some value and some idea of where you're going. Skitties, you cannot be next. You missed your reading, and I am closing the stream now. Okay. So that last card over there kind of did answer your question. It kind of said that it's up to you. If you go full force into becoming this person, then allow it to be your motivation. Allow this to be your reality. If you don't like it, you can push it away by doubting yourself. Is Angelo at his or her peak? Pendulum says no. You are not at your peak. Yes, Kitties, your question is a yes or a no, but it's really boring, and it doesn't give me any value, and it doesn't give you any value, so I'm not going to do it. Wishing you much value, though. On another note, wishing you much value and much wealth and prosperity, blessing you in the way that every seed that you sow, no matter what it might be, will return to you 777-fold. So mote it be. And I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Thank you so much, everyone who stuck around and gave me views and tips and subscriptions and follows. And all of the interaction, there was some valuable interaction and bouncing of ideas and some chatting that I really did appreciate. See you on Wednesday.